How do you modernize an 85-year-old restaurant brand? Hello, this is Jonathan Mays, Editor-in-Chief of Restaurant Business, and in this week's episode of A Deeper Dive, I speak with Flynn Dekker, the CEO of Shipley Do-Nuts. Shipley is a fascinating brand. It was started in Houston in the 1940s as a retail operation and has grown to more than 350 locations in 12 states. But it is an absolute institution in its hometown. And Flynn talks about the benefits of having a loyal customer base like that and what it means for the brand's future. We also talk extensively about the company's modernization. Since Shipley was sold to Peak Rock Capital in 2021, the brand has undergone a number of changes, all designed to bring the company into the modern age. We talk about many of those changes and the reaction from the company's base of franchisees to all of that change. We also talk about donuts and kolaches, the Czech pastries that are beloved in Texas. All of that brand gives the company an immense marketing opportunity going forward. We're talking donuts on A Deeper Dive, so please have a listen. All right, I'm here with Flynn Dekker. Flynn, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Jonathan. Good to be here.
All right, so what's going on in Donut Land?
A lot. Shipley Do-Nuts is we're entering our 88th year of operation. So it's been a family-run business for many years, and now we're trying to take this Texas homegrown brand to the rest of the world.
So that was the thing that I really wanted to have you on the podcast talking about, because Shipley's been around for a long time, and a couple of years ago it was sold. And then the brand has since then been taking steps to say, all right, it's time that has been a Texas institution for all intents and purposes, that it start taking off. Tell us a little bit about what's been done to sort of modernize the brand.
Yeah, a lot, right? You can imagine a brand that was run by the family for 85 years, 3 generations. They did things their own way, and it was good. It was successful because it's a great core product. But there are a lot of things that, as you think about how do you grow beyond sort of its natural boundaries, what do you need to put in place? So we did. I say all the usual things, maybe not so usual, but an ERP system, so better finance and accounting recognition. Put in point of sale system, didn't exist before, not in a universal way, at least. There were many different things being used out there, down to probably a cigar box behind the counter. We put in online ordering, third-party integration into our point of sale, supply chain improvements so that we can grow across the country, and it's all been paying off. We now have a foundation to build off of, and then just this, I guess, the last several months, we've gotten our franchise partners to vote in favor of a national or our marketing co-op. So we actually have some dollars to promote a brand that really didn't have any promotion before that. So kind of have built the foundation. Now we have the fun of getting to turn the dials and figure out what works best as we continue to grow.
So what did the company do before without any sort of marketing co-op or anything like that?
It just grew organically. I use that term organic a lot, right? It means kind of without systems or processes. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh, you like the brand? You got a check? Come on in, right? And they did a great job. But a lot of the franchise partners, it succeeded because they're just really hardworking, smart individuals. So they kind of did things their own way. So now we have the fun of sort of putting some systems in place, building off the best practices, and then spreading that far and wide. So now we've got the tools to really go and kind of hit the gas. So last year, we built a record number of shops, 19 on a base of, we're at 352 shops now across 12 states. And so we built 19 shops, had really great same store sales growth. And we're kind of just getting started, which is weird to say for an almost 88-year-old brand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So let's. You actually are just starting to see some of the fruits of that marketing co-op, aren't you?
For sure. So we just launched our first limited time offer in the company's history. So the Poptastic, which is taking this new freeze-dried Skittle product, which is delicious, by the way, and it's light and airy, and putting it on sort of a cherry or a strawberry iced donut. So that just launched, and we've sold tens of thousands of those now in just the first couple of weeks. And so it gives us the opportunity to kind of add some jet fuel to this thing where it's never had it before. So limited time offers, really dialing up digital advertising that's really efficient because it's geo-targeted around the exact locations. And it gets smarter as you go because of behavioral targeting and all that fun stuff. So now we can really reach the consumer much more effectively. And we've got things to talk about other than, hey, we've got donuts, they're delicious, come on in, right? Now we have transaction drivers in the form of limited time offers and other promotional type things that we can do.
Mm-hmm. But now, so all that said, like what you're talking about is this concept got to like 300 units with relatively little marketing to speak of over an 80-year period. And the thing that I found, now obviously I am not from Texas, and is that, you have some real loyal customers. And that has to be a pretty strong foundation, no?
It is. I mean, I've been given a gift, I think. And first of all, it's not obvious that you're not from Texas, by the way. But, I mean, look, we're wearing the same shirt. I mean, I'm in Texas. You could be too, but
I could be.
It's this amazing foundation, right? This super loyal, fan base. And if you look around sort of the home market of Houston, where there's about 170 units in the area, these folks, it's been able to continue to expand and go out to further and further areas just from word of mouth, right? The product at the heart of it, right? And the key to any successful franchise is the product's got to be great, right? So our product is, and I'm super proud of it, we serve 60 plus varieties of donuts and kolaches, which for those that are not from sort of the South, kolaches are a beautiful gift our Czech immigrants brought to Texas. And they can either be sweet or savory. Ours are savory, can have some jalapeno and sausage in there, some ham and cheese. They're delicious. But so that makes up a big part of our product offering. So it's just a great core product. And so now we just have to tell more people about it. And so hopefully my marketing background, as well as having a super talented team and really passionate franchisees that have been in this business, some of them been in this business for 30 or 40 years, and now their kids are running it, and they have every intention of continuing to pass it along. So they have the opportunity to, cash out and do very well. And yet they stay with this business because they really love it and they believe in it. So it's really a great opportunity to build off of and to continue to grow.
Mm-hmm. Now, you said, if I recall correctly, at the ICR conference, you said that people stop you in airports. Explain.
So, the other brands I've worked for, people are always, yeah, that's nice, right? I like your food, or I like whatever it was we were selling at the time. Mm-hmm. But I wear a Shipley, jacket or shirt as I travel back and forth every week, and I am there's at least 3 people per trip at the airport or in between that stop me and want to tell me a personal story, their history with the brand, how they grew up with it, how much they love it. I mean, literally raving fans. And again, with my background as a marketer, that is a great place, to start, right? To have that word of mouth. And that's why we see as we go further out from the home base, I'm pleasantly surprised, maybe shocked a little bit by how much demand there is in some of these markets where I think, well, surely they don't know who we are, right? But the word of mouth, somebody lives in Texas, somebody's from Texas, it blows that up and gets us off to a great start in these markets. So, it's nice when people stop you and rather than saying, I had a bad experience at your restaurant, it's the exact opposite, where they just want to tell me their personal history and story with the brand, and then inevitably ask me if I have any donuts with me.
Do you?
No, but
Don't carry
I
donuts
know where
with
to
you to
get
the
you
airport.
some.
So were you aware, like when you, but before you took the job, were you aware of how much of a loyal fan base you had?
Absolutely not. I didn't
Really?
grow up with this brand. I grew up in the Midwest, and not in Texas. So I am a convert. So as I was doing my research, as they were, talking to me about this opportunity, I did my research, and part of my research was just asking people, from Texas what they thought or what they knew about it. And I got the same reaction as I get when I get on the plane and people see the logo, which was just, raving fans. So like I said, I'm a convert. I wasn't born and raised in the Shipley business, but I'm happy to be here now.
Yeah. How do you work for a donut chain and not become really, really large and gain
Well,
huge
that's why
amounts
I'm
of money?
keeping the camera up here. To,
I,
to,
I would be
to
rolling out the door.
yeah, it's,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the beautiful thing is since I got here, because they never did limited time offers. This is why I may look very different the next time you see me. I've asked, we have a head of culinary, Caitlin, she's just amazing. And, I just said, I want new ideas every week. So, I didn't realize that it would be 7 or 8 or 9 new ideas every week that we go to the test kitchen, and she reveals something new and delicious. So my current state may not last for much longer, but it's a great opportunity to try new things, and to continue to kind of dial in the product offering. So when you have 60 plus varieties of donuts, there's a tail to that. And as we start to do more limited time offers, we start to learn more kind of where the consumer is. The nice thing about our brand is we're really, I don't know that inexpensive is the word, but affordable certainly is, right? And we really have this broad range of consumers, and we're not selling a $5 donut, right? And there's a lot of folks out there that are doing it, and God bless them, more power to them. But we really want to fit in. We really want to be every man's sort of, donut and kolache stop. So we really try and find things that are kind of in that range, that are delicious, but constantly kind of testing the boundaries of what we can do from a product perspective and what our customers will love.
Yeah. I think the great thing about donuts is it's like almost like a blank slate, right? You could do anything.
Yes.
Like you can put, and I think, and maybe it's just me, but I think in recent years, we've seen a lot of really cool experimentation all over the place with donuts. And you really could do, I mean, you're putting freeze-dried Skittles on donuts, for crying out loud.
It is. I mean, it's a wonderful base, right? We can do anything. And that was kind of my encouragement to the marketing and the culinary team when I got here and said, we're going to start doing limited time offers. It's like, find something that just goes on top of what we already have, because Lawrence Shipley, who created this, beautiful business back in 1936, his first, thing was the cream donut, which is our hot glazed donut. You can come in until 11 a.m. in most places and say, I want a hot glazed, and they'll make it for you right there. It's a delicious base. So if you can find other things that kind of complement that, we just have an endless supply of limited time offer options, because we're not really recreating the wheel. We're just enhancing that wheel in a different way on a regular basis.
Yeah. Well, that leads nicely into me asking you about kolaches, because that one is where I find that if I look at Shipley, that's the part that I find the most fascinating, because donut. I mean, in reality, I mean, that gives you all kinds of possibilities. I mean, you have that theoretically. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I am. But you could legitimately turn that into, lunch opportunities and things like that. No,
that's exactly right. It is another great foundation to build off of. Right now we have we've got a spicy sausage, a sausage with jalapeno, ham and cheese. But we have some franchise partners that are doing a Wagyu beef, boudin, if you're in kind of the Louisiana area. So it just gives us another great opportunity to expand. And most, once you get outside of Texas, people are like, what's a kolache, right? And I tell them it's kind of a pig in a blanket if you're from the Midwest or up north. But it's fully encased in our proprietary dough mix. But it gives us lots of opportunities to expand on that as we grow. And it's already about 20 to 30%, depending on the shop, part of our business. So it makes us very unique, I think, in just those that are just straight donut providers.
Yeah. That was another thing about kind of realizing how popular those things are in Texas. Again, I'm not from Texas. I might look like it today, but I'm not from Texas. And that they're insanely popular in Texas. It's a European thing, and they're insanely popular in Texas. And I think they're growing, just generally speaking, in the restaurant space, because we do see a couple of concepts out there that do specialize in kolaches that are starting to really gain some steam. So it's just an idea to me that's kind of coming, and all started in Texas.
It's a nice savory complement to all the sweet items that we sell. So it really gives us a different lane than a lot. And you're right, there are some great concepts that's all they do, right? So I really like that too, because they help with the education part, right? As they go into different areas, now people start to better understand it because that's all they do. And then they come to us, and ours are a little bit different than those folks because of the type of dough mix we use, the way that, the amount, the type of sausage, or the type of, things that we put inside, make ours, unique.
So let's chat a little bit about the franchisee base. So you've been undergoing a number of changes within the system. How has a franchisee base reacted, and how have you worked with them to talk through some of the different things you're going to do? Them. Obviously, they must feel confident in management if they approved a marketing plan.
Yeah, I think so. That was my first sort of tour of duty when I got here, because I took over in May of last year, and immediately went on a road trip. And we did road shows. And a big part of that was, hey, here are the things that we're focused on. We need to get this ad fund over the line. It comes down to a vote, majority rules, based just on the way we're set up. And so I think generally people are pretty happy because, look, sales are up. We're above average when it comes to the industry. Store growth continues. Just in this month, we've had several existing franchisees that might have been in a wait and see mode. Like, okay, well, what's this guy going to do? Or what's this team going to do? That have all signed up for multi-shop deals as we go forward. So a big part of our base is renewals and bigger commitments from existing franchisees. Now, as we continue to grow outside of our base, and we're about 20% of our units are outside of Texas right now, that's going to continue to climb as we bring in multi-concept, multi-unit franchise partners they've got a lot of white space in these new markets. And my personal belief is we can succeed anywhere, right? If the core product is fantastic, as long as we're shinier, cleaner, well operated than the mom and pop down the street, or maybe even the national chain down the street, we will win. So I think that is pervasive in terms of that way of thinking, and it is. Our franchisees believe in it, and they're showing it by signing up for more and more units.
So where are you going next? What are the growth plans at this point? They seem relatively aggressive to me.
We'll probably open 30 plus this year. So another shop record. We're in 12 states. We primarily occupy right now the Southeast, so up to Colorado and across to Maryland. We opened up 5 new states in the Midwest for development in just the last few months. So we're fielding, interest in those markets. So I think we'll probably try and stay as much in the sort of that contiguous area in the Southeast, right? Building off sort of the ripple effect of brand recognition as we go. But we continue to entertain, ideas that we've turned down a few things where they're like, well, let's take it to New York. It's like, let's not go there yet, or California. It's like, let's stay in our lane. We can continue to move out regionally. And then, as it gets a bigger foothold, we can go further out. The other thing too that we're doing is smaller, faster, more economical build outs. We have proven that we can go into B and C real estate in the middle of a strip center and be really successful, and the shops cash flow really well. So rather than going to a brand new market and people are like, well, I'm going to build, I've seen some of these other donut shops. Let's build a double drive through and, a 5,000 square foot unit. It's like, start modestly, right? Seed the market, build brand awareness. That's the long-term that's the way to have long-term success versus, immediate, just one high AUV. So that's the strategy that we're taking.
Yeah. You, being in the Southeast, you can South and Southeast, you can, you probably have quite a bit of white space still without really expanding your geographic reach all that much.
Correct. So, excuse me. We do, right? There's a lot of opportunity. Sorry, I'm losing my voice here. A little more water.
Man, I'm hammering you too much with these hard donut questions.
Feel like I'm under interrogation. No, it's we have a ton of white space. I mean, we just started seeding Florida, for instance. Just started seeding Georgia with our first units there. We have, Mississippi, Louisiana, where there's just tons of space still available, but we've got lots of examples of successful locations that have already opened there. So we're taking a more thoughtful approach. I think before my arrival, it was, hey, let's sell a 25 store deal or let's sell a 20 store deal. My mindset is let's sell a 3 to 5 store deal. And when they're successful, we'll carve out some more territory for them. But let's be thoughtful about our approach and not just try and, stuff the pipeline and say, well, look at all these shops we have in the pipeline. Isn't that great? I'd rather have 3 to 5 that open really fast. And we've squeezed down because of this new strategy of sort of smaller, faster, more cost effective. We've been able to we're getting shops open, at a much faster pace than we were before, when it was kind of like, well, it really comes down to when they're going to build the freestanding unit or when, the landlord's going to release this property. So it just helps us on all fronts be smarter, and therefore we can go into any of these states and be successful.
Yeah. Pipeline is a good pipeline is great, but too many times, franchisees, especially with some of these really aggressive ones, signed by relatively new franchises. A lot of times they don't end up getting fulfilled. So
right.
To me, doing it, taking a more cautious approach, especially when you're seeding a market, is probably the right way to go. And
it locks up a ton of territory, right? Like we'll hold some territory or give someone first right of refusal as long as they're hitting their marks, right? Like, let's get this open. Let's get you successful. Let's make sure, this is the right business model for you and the right one for us. And then we'll find you some more territory. But having somebody sign a 25 unit deal or a 50 unit deal for a wide swath of territory, that's going to take one group a really long time to get it done, unless they're kind of at the top of the sophistication list. But as we continue to grow, right, we want people that can be as nimble as possible, and then we'll find more opportunities for them.
So asking this question to everybody, how's the labor picture like right now for you guys?
It's good. So we came in, I brought in a great operator just a few months ago. And I knew, and he quickly realized too, that we have a ton of opportunity from a labor perspective, right? To dial in what we do. If we straight line what we've been able to do in just the last few months, it's just our company stores. We have decreased labor cost as well as food cost as a result, so that these things can be really efficient. So we haven't had too much of a problem because we're a different day part. That's one of the things that benefits us, I should say. Because some people, if they want to have a second job, they can work for us and have a morning or early, afternoon shift, and then be able to go do something else. So we find that, look, if we pay people right, we treat people right, we just haven't had as much of a labor challenge, I think, as some other people.
Yeah. How were you able to cut back on those labor costs like that?
I'll be honest, there were a lot of holdover behaviors from when it was a family-run business. And so really, we weren't reinventing the wheel. It was a labor matrix, making sure we had the right model, the right positions, really defining those positions, pay the people you have well, versus there was a lot of overtime, right? So it was held up. And in our units, we make everything fresh every single day. Nothing is held over from the day before. So we have a baker there at 3 a.m. making the dough, making all the product. And there's some opportunity there as we go forward. But just putting a labor model in place, theoretical food cost, we have squeezed just in our 12 locations about $800,000 of cost savings out that will over, if you annualize what we've done just in the first few months of really focusing on it.
And that was done by basically modernizing the operation in simple.
Indeed. And we've got so much opportunity in front of us because it is an antiquated business. We're not producing stuff in a commissary as some do. We don't have a very limited sort of menu. We had 60 varieties plus kolaches. So we're going to continue to look at, is that the right number? I don't take anything for granted. And everything, when they say, well, this is what we do. Well, my first question is, well, why do you do that? Right. And let's get to the bottom and say, is that still the right thing to do? We have to continue to evolve as a brand. It's not easy being around for 88 years and growing for 88 years, right? There's a lot of brands out there that have been around for a long time. They haven't been growing consistently and probably aren't still growing. This business is unique. I think it fills sort of an interesting niche. And if we do the right thing, we control costs, we make sure our franchisees are making more on the top line and bottom line, we got a lot more runway in front of us.
That's a great thing, note to end on. I love this, Flynn. Thanks for joining me this week on the podcast.
Jonathan, thank you so much.
And that should do it for this week's episode of A Deeper Dive, which was edited, as always, by Spoons, artwork by Nico Hines. You may find this and other episodes of the podcast on our website at www.restaurantbusinessonline.com/article/deeper-dive. You may also subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. I'm Jonathan Mays, your host, podcast producer, and the editor-in-chief of Restaurant Business. Thank you for listening.